We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, stay with this channel. Turn on alerts in Discord so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, there is a feedback form down in the comments. Okay, let's welcome who's here. We have Alexandra first on the stream. Mahet, Miklo, welcome to the show. PDA, Brandon, Double Ace, good morning. VA Buds, Generation, welcome. Huber's Ranch, Lee, Corey, Leo, Gian, CB, hello, 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 hello. Valdote's here in the house, welcome. Okay, here's the good news. You want some good news? I got tons of good news. Whatever went on yesterday was an absolute nothing burger. It was a nothing burger, right? It's very simple. The betting markets say the election is tied. Crypto should have gone down on that. It should have, because, the right is way more pro-Bitcoin than the left. The left is essentially a vote for 4 more years of Gensler. So the election is either not tied or no one cares, because yesterday it looked like the market was going to absolutely crack. And then NVIDIA made positive comments about how crazy people are, their customer base are to get their products. And then I think the Fed may also have come in on top of that and levitated equities. Equities went from down 1% to up 2% by the end of the day. Huge reversal. Now, I'm not really in a mood to chase equities, but I will take this because, you know how I always say, beware the failed rally, right? And if it's supposed to go up and it doesn't, it'll go down. Well, this is the reverse. If the market's supposed to go down, or it's supposedly a negative event, and then the market turns around and goes up, is that not at least constructive to the point where, you don't sit around and worry about something terrible happening? I mean, I'll take that any day of the week, right? In other words, it would be nice in crypto to just kind of sit around and watch the thing go sideways, which is, very much akin to what happened on the same day last year. Last year was a low in price. Post-debate, this could have been a low in sentiment because, people, including me, got emotional about, kind of this surprise related to the debate. Now, the people thought it was a surprise, but the market didn't. I'll take it. I will absolutely, absolutely take it. Okay. All right. Let's go to news. Hopefully people are seeing me. Okay, so CNBC is right back to exactly what you would expect them to write, that essentially it doesn't matter who wins the election. At least that's the new Kool-Aid, right? I mean, there was a huge 5-point shift in betting odds yesterday and no one cared. Awesome. So the assumption that people are making is that Bitcoin is going to essentially decouple not only from equities, but politics and just about everything else you can think of. And the evidence of that is that altcoins are moving this morning. They were moving before the debate, and they're just right back to moving. Okay, so the ECB cut rates, okay. They're not worried about inflation. I mean, you did have a recession in the UK, and most likely growth out there is falling out of bed. So they cut rates. We are the only country with these inflation numbers. We're the only country that has this problem, which I find extremely suspicious. They're cutting rates. We're cutting rates. The latest legacy blah, 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 blah is, about how are you going to get a 25 basis point cut, or are you going to get a 50 basis point cut? One thing I thought was really interesting, Hey, I'm going to pull this up here from a guy named Jim Bianco. Okay, one of the things that he wrote about in a thread yesterday was about why inflation is higher. It's really interesting. Inflation is higher because of U.S. population growth. As I'm sure you know, if you've watched any politics, we've let large numbers of people into the country, and, that puts pressure on shelter demand, right? Because, you got millions of people looking for shelter or that need shelter that weren't there before. And if these people get, essentially welfare transfer payments, this accounts for inflation. But if you take immigrants out, I don't know how much inflation is there really in the United States. So this is that's a good question. This guy is trying to tell you that a recession is coming. My argument is there are certain elements of the economy between no job growth and inflation that have already been in a recession. The Fed has effectively kept rates too high, massively hurting a certain segment of the population. And the only way to have an actual recession as defined by the economics textbook is to have a mess in equities that hurts the capital class. So everyone's obsessed with a recession. I don't think we need a recession. I just think we need the Fed to say, yeah, interest rates are too high, and keeping interest rates high is not going to stop whatever inflation is out there. It's a matter of normalizing rates to the current reality, not changing rates because of a future reality. To me, that's way more bullish crypto, because if you have artificially high interest rates, the second they start to come down, crypto goes up. It's that simple. I mean, if no one cares about the debate, the next thing is the Fed and rates. Okay. A reminder from Elon: government overspending causes inflation. End of story. Okay. This is Ron Paul. He's a guy that, spoke out against, I don't know, everything. The military industrial complex, printing money. People thought he was kind of a kook 20 years ago, and the guy was right about everything. The government stops spending, inflation ends, which is why, I think, I think interest rates in the United States could be at 3%, not 4 or 5%. Okay, so Scottie Pippen is still bullish on Bitcoin. He's a famous basketball player from the 90s, and he's like making a little name for himself by doing like random pro Bitcoin tweets. It's kind of funny. All right. Home priors hit by price surge. Okay, Harris wants to build 3 million units. Trump wants to open up federal lands. Kennedy wanted to issue special government bonds to try to get lower mortgage rates for first-time home buyers. There's drill, baby, drill for oil, and there's build, baby, build for housing, right? I mean, all these people who just came into the country, they got to go somewhere, and young people have to get something affordable, blah, blah, blah. The only way anyone's ever going to be able to buy a house is if they get lower rates and invest in something that doubles, right? This whole like, oh, I'm going to put money away and have it grow at 5% in corporate bonds. Yeah, that's not going to get Gen Z anything, right? Gen Z is going to discover crypto, particularly as crypto accelerates out of the abyss where we're all in some sort of like silly, mesmerized, like beat up state where we don't think there's anything new under the sun in crypto. Everything is going lower. We didn't build anything. The whole blah, blah, blah narrative you hear at the bottom. Meanwhile, I actually think cat and dog coins can continue to could start this again, right? I mean, you got Haitian immigrants in Ohio supposedly eating, whatever animals they can get their hands on. That's funny, not funny. But you could start mooning cat and dog coins because cat and dog memes are still all over the internet. Bottom line is people are going to be looking for any way to make money, a lot of it. And they're going to need to. They're going to need to, or they're not going to buy a house. Okay, NVIDIA saving the market yesterday by reminding you that their relationships with their customers are tense, meaning people are so wound up about getting chips that NVIDIA can't make anybody happy. We probably have more emotional customers today. Kind of a brilliant move on their part, right? Like NVIDIA is overpriced, overdone. It's priced for perfection. But this was a huge excuse to rally the market yesterday. And I have no doubt that the plunge protection team took advantage of it. Meaning, positive news hit the tape. Then the Fed put high-powered money in to stop the decline. Because after all, you cannot have the current administration's candidate winning a debate and the market going down. You just can't have that. The optics on that are horrible. So the NVIDIA news came out, and then boom, the whole thing turned. And I will take this all day, right? Crypto can just sit here as far as I'm concerned. That would be an absolutely huge benefit. Okay. All right. So jobs numbers are out, right? Jobless claims inch up, but there's no sign of huge layoffs. Okay. Hiring has slowed. Okay. It's not a recession. You're not going to get a recession. You are going to get big layoffs in tech stocks. I think you're going to see layoffs in tech companies so they can like jump over the earnings bar. But again, it's not a disaster. It's not. So if there's no disaster and no concern, we can go back to business in crypto. Now, I have to be honest with you. This is really funny. This is a conversation between, Joe Biden, who is, obviously dramatically slowed down, and some random guy. The random guy was like, put my Trump hat on. Biden was like, I'm not putting the Trump hat on. And then he put it on. And I know the guy slowed down, but he knew exactly what he was doing. He put the hat on to get a laugh out of the crowd. And, it's like, the guy got pushed out of office and he's not happy. So he made a silly joke. And I actually think it's funny. Right. But again, everyone was all wound up, including me, about the debate. No one cares. 75% of the 50 million people who own crypto will vote with crypto on their mind. Treasury buying Bitcoin pumps people's bags. People are sick of Gensler. It's the crypto bros versus the Swifties. Tyler Winklevoss betting on the crypto bros. And in case you needed any more election comedy, one of the debate monitors was a sorority sister of Harris. Honestly, I think the fact that these guys were so biased detracted from the fact that she did good on the debate, better than you would have thought. Okay, this is what I was talking about yesterday. This is Ron Paul. Harris surprised me. She's a much better liar than I realized. So again, Harris, competitive, race, tied. Nobody cares. Right? Okay. Presidential debate. No one brings up crypto. You know what? In a way, I'm actually happy. Let them argue with each other. It's okay. Right? So the media is trying to make sense of what happened. Like crypto and stocks recover. Harris wins a debate, but it wasn't the end of the world. Okay. Trump election odds slip according to polls, but no one cares. He was behind in the polls in 2016. Vitalik is done selling Ethereum. Oh my God. Thank God. Vitalik, stop selling, go buy a house, marry your girlfriend, whatever. Dude, stop selling. Because what this guy's selling, it just lets this daily media FUD cycle continue, right? Institutions still remember Web3. I don't understand why no one thinks we're not going to do DeFi, real world assets. We're not going to do any of these things anymore. You had 6 months of up only, and then 6 months of choppy garbage, where it was just impossible to make money. holding crypto. You could trade crypto, but holding crypto was impossible. The only thing that's changed is the nature of the price action and the fact that if you have a tied election, I don't know, maybe you have a better case for a decentralized future if Harris gets in. That was like the lingo that went around yesterday, was basically Bitcoin doesn't care who the president is. Fine by me, right? But, Vitalik's got to stop this Ethereum FUD. Retail is dumping the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, but not in a disturbing way, right? Ethereum staking yields, everybody has to find a problem with Ethereum now, right? Like, oh my God, the staking yields are too high, right? I don't know. I'm not buying it. Okay, this is probably a published, this is probably like a placed article, but there's a wallet that was buying Solana that's buying a low cap real world asset play. And a lot of the real world asset plays are actually beat up. And I have a portfolio, which I'll show you in a minute, regulated digital asset frontier. This is checks, tokenization marketplace, compliance infrastructure. People, this is coming back. It's already moving. It is already moving. So let's go to some stuff I had briefly in PowerPoint, which includes, kind of the coins, kind of like you guys are getting like an early preview of some of my super premium stuff. Okay. Okay. A reminder, Bitcoin doesn't have a lot of history. Everybody thought it was the end of the world in 2021 when Biden came in, and it wasn't. The market actually went straight up. So, the current line is we don't care who wins. I think we care who wins. I think we do. I think the Orange Man and Kennedy are visibly pro Bitcoin. I think Trump will be cranking that up seriously, but there's an argument for we don't care. There's an argument for as soon as the uncertainty is out of the way, the market turns around and goes up. Okay, NASDAQ, this is the reversal from yesterday, right? It's like down, off the debate, and then it just turns around and goes straight up. That's the plunge protection team. I really don't feel like chasing it. I don't think that makes any sense. But the simple fact of the matter is they're not going to let equities go down in an election year. They're just not. Okay, Bitcoin, tactically, it's a 5-wave structure. It got to equilibrium around 58. So Bitcoin sitting at 58 is just fine. There's a ton of support now underneath at 56. There may be a case to just sit here. I mean, if it's at equilibrium, it's good. That's it. Everyone got upset, and then it's just the whole thing just turned around. Solana, this is clearly a base, right? I mean, unless there's some shock that I don't know about, even if they take it down to 120, it's still inside of a box. It's a base. And there's that saying, the bigger the base, the higher in the space. So the longer Solana just sits down here, the more powerful it's going to be when it goes up. And I don't think you can discount this whole dog cats thing. I mean, there's all these dog and cat meme coins, all these big ones, Whiff, Popcat, all this stuff. I mean, this like dogs cats thing could actually keep Trump in front because everybody thinks that was the funny joke that, pushed Trump over the top. And as it turns out, there is a problem with people eating pets in this small town in Ohio. And yeah, you're like, wow, man, that's pretty stupid. Like people who are from overseas, people in Europe are looking at like, really, man, the dogs and the cats are going to turn the election. Listen, people, the plunge protection team, NVIDIA, and the dogs and the cats stopped the decline from yesterday, period. Could be good for Solana. Altcoins, it looks like we've got a teacup without the handle, right? It's just a rounding bottom. And you might have a handle here where you have to sit around and wait for the Fed. That's fine with me. I mean, we'll figure out something to talk about, but it's better than having the market go down in fear of some, you know, bizarre election outcome. Okay, this is total crypto market cap is making the same formation. Gold is in a square range. That works for me. Dollar's got to go lower. Interest rates have to come down. Now, here's the portfolio that we're looking at. So this is all basically DeFi and RWA, right? So we're looking at Woo, trading, Rune, cross-chain, PNG is cross-chain, low market cap on that. Velodrome and PNG are both like 500 market cap, right? Radium and Goldfinch, which at a market cap of 228, considering what these guys do with lending, I actually think that market cap's way too low, like way too low. Okay, Mantra, Ohm, these guys at BlackRock's active on this platform. I just don't think people have figured it out yet. Okay, AI, Ocean, right? 200 market cap, too low. Render, 42, plausible big cap. Right? Everyone's forgotten about this. Jasmy, same thing. It's like an Asia AI play. Fetch, the super intelligence token, right? This is like the Bitcoin of AI. Immutable X, gaming, no one's talking about it. Okay. And then back to kind of like a mix, Aave, top pick. Aave's been going up. There's no reason for Aave to stop at all. Yes, it's outperformed. The rest of DeFi is going to catch up. Drift, Multicoin Capital came out bullish Drift. They have a huge position. It's on Coinbase, number 304 market cap. Checks, which we talked about in real world assets, 300 market cap. Okay, Metis based AI, 300 market cap, and the Bitcoin layer 2 stacks. And that's the market update. I mean, basically, it's like, the big question is at this point, if no one cares about the election, which, that's, again, fine with me, then I think you got to start buying altcoins, because altcoins is just so beat up relative to stocks that if the election is a nothing burger and there's no negative economic data and the Fed's going to cut rates, maybe there's a disappointment trade that they don't get 50, which I think is stupid. So, you can start accumulating. And if there is one more dip, because they did this last year, like they had a 9/11 puke, they had a rally, they had one last decline in like the end of September, and then it just started grinding higher and exploded in October. Maybe the October surprise is that Bitcoin starts moving up. Because again, if negative catalysts are not negative, let's go. Let's go. Right? All right. So we got Warmon, Malik, Arendam. Welcome. Right? You're never too late. You're never too early. You're right on time. Will Moonwell hit resistance soon? Let's check it out. Okay, I got to share screen. Wow, that's quite the pump. Okay, so if you look at this on a 4-hour chart of Lux Algo, my answer to your question would be yes. So you're entering what you would call the premium zone. So this is like a 4-hour chart. You're in the premium zone around, I don't know, 0.026. And then I think if you get a blow off top, it'll be to 0.028. Right. Obviously, a very impressive move all the way back up here. The setup maybe, they go above this, they take this out, they suck everyone in, and then they maybe drop it. Maybe. But this is a kind of an example of what can happen across the board if no one cares. Because as you can see, there are a lot of alts that are popping off right now as we speak. You know, Joe's up 1%, Render's up 2%, right? Oh, look at this. Pro is moving. You know, it's not moving huge, but it moved, right? It's like they want to get after these altcoins to a certain degree. They want to get after these things. You know, and if you can find altcoins that you like that are only up like say 1 or 2% on the day, you know, maybe that's something to get after. And then if you just look at memes, right? You know, it'd be interesting. I mean, at a tactical level, like if you look at PopCat on an 89-minute chart, like maybe the cats and dogs move is over in the big caps. So I don't know how long they can continue this meme, how long they can continue this meme coin trade, right? But, you know, if Solana's up 2%, memes can go up. And most likely the meme that hasn't gone up and done anything is WIF. WIF has done nothing, right? PopCat looks like a top. WIF looks like a bottom. So if we're doing cats and dogs, well, let's do cats and dogs. I mean, again, a crypto guy like me is not going to be like, well, you know, it's like we have to have a certain type of crypto moving. No, we don't. So we just have to be able to get out of worrying about this, that, and the other thing. No one cares about the election. If Bitcoin goes up, no matter who's in office, then let's go. Let's go. Okay, so that's the market update for today. Thanks for tuning in live or watching the recording. We'll see you tomorrow.